Paul McCartney and John Lennon were an unrivaled songwriting partnership who composed hit after hit for the Beatles throughout the 1960s. Their contrasting styles would often meet in the middle to produce magic, even as the decade went on and the band's sound evolved. The sparks flew between John and Paul. Opposite poles produce energy, as Wilfred Mellers put it in 1972's Music and Musicians magazine, describing their collaboration. Paul's graceful poetry subdued John's raging iconoclasm, and John's resiliency hardened Paul's innocent charisma. On the other hand, when the Fab Four started to push the envelope creatively in the second part of the 60s, such sparks might potentially create band feuds. Several of Paul's compositions became targets of John's criticism after he quit the band. In interviews, John voiced his disapproval of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Let It Be, and the medley that concluded 1965's Abbey Road LP. As tensions rose between them, John began to fear that Paul was out to undermine his career. Paul wrote both Strawberry Fields Forever and Penny Lane, which were released as A-side singles in 1967. The trippy and surrealist tune was, in John's opinion, the band's finest composition. He started penning songs in the fall of 1966, when the Fab Four had already stopped touring to focus on perfecting their studio sound. John was reportedly feeling insecure while filming How I Won the War, away from his bandmates. Similar to its accompanying single, Strawberry Fields Forever, the song reminisces on John's and his friends' youth spent playing in the woods of Strawberry Field, a Salvation Army children's home in Woolton. Following the release of Revolver and the conclusion of their final tour, the Beatles recorded Strawberry Fields Forever as their debut tune. Although the recording process was lengthy, the Beatles made headlines when they returned to the studio in November 1966. Due to John's meticulous vision for the song's final tone, 26 takes were necessary to perfect it. Ringo Starr provided percussion and drums, while Paul and George Harrison played a variety of instruments, and John contributed lead vocals, rhythm guitar, bongos, and mellotron. In addition to the aforementioned players, producer George Martin arranged for trumpet and cello. The band worked on the song for over 45 hours spread out over 5 weeks, and they recorded and mixed 3 different versions before releasing the final product. John thought it was the Beatles' crowning achievement, according to Rolling Stone, but he was dissatisfied with the end result, calling it badly recorded. In an interview from 1980, writer Walter Everett claims that he too thought Paul had attempted to subtly derail the song